Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to do a really fun purple look using not that many colors. I use like 3 shades of purple. One of the colors is pretty unique. That one is available, you know, you can always get that from MAC or whatever. But you know, the other colors you can just kind of substitute whatever. Even if you didn't have all 3 the exact colors, you can kind of use the same placement with 3 different shades of purple or whatever color that you like. Yeah, it's really nice. It's kind of, it's dark, it's kind of sexy and smoky, but then at the same time around the edges it's kind of glowy. It really brightens your eyes up on the inner corners. I'm going to show you how to do that. And yeah, I hope that you guys like it. And if you want to see how to do this, then keep watching. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to do is put down a purple base. For this, if you're using the color that I'm going to show for the main color, which is the Parfait Amour, you really want to use a color base that is the actual color is that, or just go with something like Painterly Paint Pot, which is just the color of my skin. If you change it up too much, it's going to alter it. So I'm going to use the Urban Decay 24/7 liner in Lust. These make really great bases because they're creamy enough to blend. What I do is I just line like I'm normally, you know, lining my eye. And then I just kind of start feathering it upward. Or I just put it on my finger like that. And then dab it on like I would a paint pot or anything else. Alright, so you can see I've got a fairly even coat of it. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm also going to take it and connect it right along this corner to the color, and then about halfway in on my lower lash line. And then this finger is all smudged, so using a different one, smudge it out. If you use this one, you'd probably smear it all over your face. This color has a really nice sparkle to it as well, but just don't use this shade on your waterline, I would think, just because it's got that, it's got a little bit of chunky shimmer to it. Then I'm going to take that color that I showed you, the Parfait Amour, which is actually my very favorite purple by MAC. I'm going to take this brush by Sigma, which is kind of like the shading brush, and pat it all over my lid, all over where that color is. This color creates like such a cool effect. And then turn the brush sideways and get the color kind of into your crease and blend it. Then using a blending brush, this is a MAC 224, just kind of blend around the edge right there. Okay, then take a smaller brush, this one's by Sigma, and then you're just going to get that same color right along your lower lash line. Just pat it right over where you applied the liner and connect it right here. Alright, then I'm going to work on brightening up this inner corner. You can apply a white pencil if you like. I used to do this pretty much on every tutorial when I was like really into this bright inner effect. I think when you're using color sometimes, it just helps that brighter color show up a little more. You're going to highlight the inner corner of your eye. That was the Fascinating Eye Kohl by MAC. You're just going to kind of pat that out with your finger. And then I'm going to take this color by MAC called Digit. If you don't have this, you just want to look for a really light, bright purple. Very, very, very light. I'm going to take that same brush and just pat the color right over that. Take it around this color down here. You don't want to overlap it or go completely over it, but you do want to kind of overlap it a little on the edge so that you can kind of blend it down. It's going to create a really pretty bright effect. Then you can take that same color on a fluffy brush. This is the same one I used for blending earlier. Right on the tip, and you're going to just go around the edge lightly, and again that's going to create a pretty kind of blended out, kind of glowy effect around the edge. Pretty like this. If you want more definition, if you want a little more darkness to it, apply a dark matte purple. This one is by MAC and it's called Graphology. I'm not sure if it's still available, but just any matte purple that's very dark will work. Or like I said, if you're in a pinch, use dark gray or black. I'm using it on a pencil type brush, a really pointed one, and I'm just going to dab it along my lash line right here and on the outer edge. And just lightly work it upward toward the crease so that I make kind of a wedge shape. Alright, so when you have that blended, Take that same brush again, this little one. You can kind of flip it over or wipe it off from where you used the lighter color. Take that really dark shade that you just used and kind of just stamp it along that inner edge right there so that you kind of meet the color. You want to keep it very, very close to the lash line. Then take a light color for your brow highlight. I'm using Mylar, which is, you can tell, probably my favorite brow highlight color. With a large brush, just kind of work it right up underneath your eyebrow. You don't want anything too harsh for this. So I'm using black, and this is my L'Oreal Carbon Black Liner Intense. Keep it very, very close to the lash line because we don't want the focus to be on the liner, we want it to be on the pretty purple. If you want that liner to really blend in with your color even more, just take that dark purple again and just kind of overlap it right where you applied it the first time, and it just kind of overlaps the black liner and deepens it a little and really helps everything kind of blend together. Since this is kind of a darker look, if you don't have long lashes, false lashes would look really, really pretty against this. But I'm just going to use my my CoverGirl Lash Blast. Alright, so we're all done with our eyes. Keep watching and I will show you what I used on the rest of my face. Alright, for my cheeks, you definitely can do whatever you want, but whenever I do more brighter looks and my eyes are the focus, I really like to kind of tone down my cheeks. Just because, you know, if I used a really bright pink or something, it might look a little too much. So the color that I used is this one. It's called Well Dressed by MAC. If you're wondering, I just took the inserts out of my palette. It holds two more if you do that. This is a nice color. It comes off as a really nice, pretty pink. It looks very, very pale, but it does show up on your skin. So just use a very, very small amount because you definitely don't want your cheeks to look too bright. Make sure that you get it nicely blended. The same thing kind of applies with the lips. I really don't want anything that's too bright or anything. So I just applied the Hug Me lipstick from MAC. It's just kind of a darker neutral. I don't want to apply anything like too bright pink or anything. You could even do like a really pale neutral shade, whatever you want to do. So that's it. I hope that you guys enjoyed it, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye.